Okay, we're going to take a look at file structure right now. What I mean by file structure is how the folders and files of Studio One are stored on your computer. It's important that we understand this because we're going to be doing a lot of saving, opening, and looking at files, and we don't want to waste any time trying to remember where it all is. So I'm using a Mac right now, but everything I'm going to say applies equally to the PC. If ever there's any difference between the PC and Mac versions, I'll definitely make that totally clear to you. One thing that is different between them is the keyboard on a Mac versus the keyboard on a PC are slightly different in terms of the keys they have. So some of the shortcuts that I'm going to be using will have different names on each system. But again, I'll make that totally clear when we get to it. For now, we're just going to find out where the Studio One folder is. So on both systems, it's located in Documents. Now on a PC, that used to be called My Documents if you're running an older operating system, but now it's just called Documents. And on the Mac, it's called Documents. So here we are. And you can see we have a Studio One folder. Now actually on my system, I have moved my main Studio One folder out of Documents onto an external hard drive over here. And if you have the opportunity to do that, I do recommend it. Basically, it just takes strain off of your internal drive. So the internal hard drive to your computer will be used for running the Studio One application and your plugins, and then your external hard drive can be used to store your sessions and audio files and things like that. So now you're using two drives instead of one, which means less strain than would be if you had just a single drive. Now, if you do have just a single drive in your laptop or whatever you're using, that's totally fine as well. It will work perfectly, but it's just something to be aware of. So inside the main Studio One folder, we have a number of subfolders here, as you can see, but what we're interested in right now is the Songs folder. So we can open that up. I've already got something in here I've called Other. This is basically just older sessions, Studio One sessions that I've already completed. So we don't need to worry about that. And what I do want to talk about is demo sessions, because throughout Lydian you're going to have access to a wide variety of demo sessions that I've created that will show you a whole bunch of things. So demo sessions will always be available underneath the video that they come from. So underneath this current video, you're going to find the link to a demo session. And I've already gone ahead and downloaded that, and you can do that as well. So we see this file here is called Lydian Twilight Waters Simple. So what this is basically is a Studio One song that I've compressed into a zip file. Now, for those of you who don't know, a zip file is just a format that you can store multiple files or multiple folders inside of instead of having to have a whole bunch of individual ones. So once you've got this downloaded, you can just double click it and it will unzip and reveal the actual folder. So now, Twilight Waters Simple. What's the simple mean? It just refers to what I've done to this session. I've kind of taken it down from its full mix and simplified it into a way that's easier to understand. So as you progress through Lydian, you will gain access to the full mixes of all the demo sessions. So you'll be able to see everything I did with all my effects and the instruments I played and all that kind of stuff. For now, this will be perfect. So if we take a look inside, we can see we have a Twilight Waters simple .song file. And .song files is just how Studio One stores your song sessions. And then underneath that, we have a media folder. So the media folder contains all the audio files that are used in the session. So you can see we've got like bass and drums and clarinets and all sorts of stuff here. So this is required for this session to open properly. So we're going to move this folder from our Downloads folder into the Songs folder that we just found. So if we go back to the Songs folder, I'd like to create a new folder inside it, and we're going to call this Lydian. And we can store all the demo sessions and whatever else you want inside this folder. So if I open this and I go back to my downloads, I can just move this entire Twilight Waters Simple folder into the Lydian folder. And we see it's here now. And I'm going to go back to downloads, and just to keep things clean, I'm going to delete these files so that we don't waste space on our hard drive. And now I'm going back into Lydian. This is inside my Studio One folder, remember. And what I want to talk about is opening sessions. So there's a number of ways to open sessions for Studio One. The easiest is just to find the .song file in your Finder or Windows Explorer and double-click it. That will open Studio One if it's not already open, and then open the song itself. The other thing that you could do would be to go into the Start page on Studio One and use this button, the Open an Existing Document button, and that will bring up a dialog box where you can navigate to the song and click it there, and it will open it perfectly. Again, you can do the exact same thing by going to File at the top menu and going Open, and that will do an identical process. And then lastly, we have this Recent Files section that I mentioned before. And if we've opened this session before, when we come back into Studio One, it will appear right here. And we can just single click that and it will take us into the session. That's really the easiest way to get back to sessions instead of having to go navigate through here or through your File Explorer on your computer. You just use the recent files. It's basically what I use all the time. So what I'm going to do now is just go back to the File Explorer since we don't have this file already opened. And I'm going to double click. And now we are in the session. So in the next video, we are going to get into how to navigate this song session. So I'll see you there.